Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the Spanish tragedy, and today we get to hear from Pedro, because it wouldn't be a play taking place in Spain if there wasn't a character named Pedro in it. And this particular scene in some versions is called Act 3, Scene 12A. In other versions it's called Act 3, Scene 13. But we're going to go with Act 3, Scene 12A, because that's just deliciously weird. So anyway, Pedro and Jacques, I'm presuming is how it's supposed to be pronounced given the meter of the lines that include his name. Pedro and Jacques are two of Hieronymo's servants, and there are a couple of ones that were called in when Hieronymo initially found Horatio and had to call in his servants and be like, is this really my son, or did they dress somebody up in his clothes? That kind of thing. So they know that Horatio is dead, that he was horribly murdered, that Hieronymo is not doing well in regard to all of this. And we have recently also seen Hieronymo very much not doing well in regard to all of this. He was actually close to killing himself last scene just to have things over with. But he didn't. He instead overheard some things, and he's now going to get the ransom that was owed to Horatio because the King of Spain sort of took pity on him because he's going a little bonkers. As is his right. He's a grieving parent. Anyway, at the top of Act 3, Scene 12A, we have Pedro and Jacques is like, he's not doing, he's just railing, and why does he just keep going on like this? And Pedro says, "Oh, Jacques, know that our master's mind is much distraught since his Horatio died, and now his aged years should sleep and rest, his heart in quiet, like a desperate man, grows lunatic and childish for his son. Sometimes, as he doth at his table sit, he speaks as if Horatio stood by him. Then, starting in a rage, falls on the earth, cries out, 'Horatio, where is my Horatio?' So that with extreme grief and cutting sorrow, there is not left in him 1 inch of man. See where he comes." So he's describing Hieronymo's grief as if we hadn't seen it for ourselves. But he's like, he's a nice old man and he should be enjoying his old age, but instead he's trying to find his son and talks to his son as if he's still there, and then falls down and weeps. He's like, he's barely even a shadow of himself at this point. And Hieronymo at that point comes in and he's like, "I've looked everywhere. I've looked in every crevice, behind every door. I can't find my Horatio. Do you know where my Horatio is?" And they go back and forth in that vein for a little while they're Jacques and Pedro are trying to communicate with Hieronymo, but Hieronymo is focused on finding his son, who really isn't there. And it escalates and escalates a little bit, and Hieronymo's like, "Why are you even out here in the middle of the night with your torches? Like, who told you to light your torches in the middle of the night?" And they're like, "You did. You told us to be out here." And he's like, "That's stupid. Why would you light your torches in the middle of the night? Light them during the day when there's light, and then light can beget light. And why would you waste your light on the night, which is, the terrible and evil and all this stuff?" And Pedro's like, "You need to calm down a little bit, sir. We understand that you're unhappy and grieving and all of that, but you need to sort of settle." And of course, that's not what a grieving person needs to hear. So Hieronymo is going to have some words in response to that we will get to hear tomorrow. So I'll see you then. Mwah.